You always got to start off by unmuting yourself. I am so happy to be with you here today. My name is Stacy. In case you didn't know, this is my YouTube channel, and I'm excited because man, this is my first ever Makers Monday, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be cool because you're here, and we're here to do something interesting and fun together. And I have to first introduce the folks that are riding with me. So give a shout out, if you will, to my Duck Army over here. They hope you met some of these folks before, or maybe you didn't, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time. So, a little bit about myself before I go a little bit too far is, I am a silly, whimsical kind of person, but I'm also very serious. Like, I'm serious about us winning. I'm serious about us, and I believe that there's more than enough room, and I want to help where I can. So that's kind of where some of my background of this came from. And if you've been around for a little bit, you'll know that I'm very much a storyteller. And my main brand is My Name is Stacy, but I also recently started something called Between the Lines, because I wanted to give people real support for the real work that they do. So not just my silly antics and the Duck Army and things like that, but also things that you can walk away with and apply to your own life. And so people tend to fit into one of three categories. Either we just vibe and we love hanging out. You're interested in maybe some of the skills that I have to do what I do, or you're interested in some of the knowledge that I have because I've been in IT for well over 20 years and worked in fintech and other spaces, education, things of that nature. So I'm here for you. So engage with me, drop some stuff in the the chat, be a fun time. So, um, the thing we're here to talk about today is really about letting go, right? And so, the difference sometimes between feeling like you're quitting and you're actually making a strategic move is the fact that you actually, a lot of times it feels like the flip of a coin, and we don't want letting something go to feel that way. It tends to leave you with the, well, what could have happened, or like these interesting kind of feelings in the background and everything. So I really thought about that with the whole put down the ducky thing, right? So I don't know what caused me to run across it, but it was definitely Ernie from Sesame Street. I can actually share the link to the video. Don't watch it now though. You gotta watch it later. But this is the link for the video to put down the ducky. And when you think about what was really happening with Ernie is, there were still some dues that Ernie had to play, or excuse me, that he had to pay. He didn't just pick up the saxophone and practice and had to work on his skills. But it was that much more difficult because he was holding on to the ducky. Now, of course, he could pick the ducky back up. So that's kind of where the name and everything came from. I was totally inspired by it. And so now I want to help you figure out how to put down whatever duckies you might need to put down, but also to think about, what's your saxophone? What is it exactly that you are trying to pick up instead of the duck? Yeah. Check out the video. Save it for later. That would be really kind of cool. And this is my first time, so it's going to be a little awkward at times, or at least it's going to feel that way to me. And hopefully things will just get better as we go. So, it looks like Josh out there feels like he likes holding on. Yeah. Holding on is you don't really have to do much. That's the key there. So, don't take offense to that, but when you're holding on, you usually just close your fist or tie a knot sometimes, or you might even be holding on because it's tied onto something else. But it's so rewarding when you can figure out the way to let it go. And again, when you do it strategically, it's not going to leave you feeling as bad. Alrighty. So, I do want to say hi to everybody who's joined so far. Nicole, I see you out there, and Morgan. Hey, Josh. Joined us, so that's awesome. I'm glad that you're here to check out things. So, moving along, because depending on you guys, this could be a really long session or it could be a short session, but I have a lot of things we could do, but you guys got to let me know what you want to do. Alrighty, so what we're planning to do today is to actually build this framework from scratch. Now, I, of course, have some notes, but I did not create any visuals or anything like that. I'm planning to use Adobe Express to create something that could be printable, that you could actually use to help you to make these strategic decisions. So part of the Makers Monday concept as a whole is to take abstract ideas and actually make them into practical tools. And then that we do it together so that it's actually useful, because obviously my experience is not inclusive of everybody in tech. It's not inclusive of, everybody who needs this type of support. And like I said, I want to give you something that you can actually walk away with and use tomorrow morning. So where I kind of landed was that there are 5 phases. And I hope you guys can see this okay. I can paste the phases in the chat just so you could maybe make it a little easier for you. But there are 5 phases. And depending on who you are, you may find yourself in one phase or another. And the first phase is recognition. And that's kind of the reality check. So again, you have to know and acknowledge and accept that there's a challenge in order for you to actually do something about it. So here are those phases. I'm not sure how they're going to paste. Let's take a look. Again, you guys are doing this fresh with me. We'll see. No, I don't think it's going to look that great, but I'm going to send it anyway. Nope, it's too long on top of it. So I'll have to account for that in the future. But if you can't see it that great, just let me know, and I will be sure to do something better next time. But the first phase is recognition. It's that reality check. The second is resistance, really kind of worried. There's an analysis phase, which can really help you to figure, is it really something to be afraid of? And then there's a dictate ourselves is oftentimes there's the strategic gains. So when it's all said and done, should be some wins, and I'll help you be able to track those. Alrighty, so um, just a quick check with the chat. If you haven't already subscribed to My Name is Stacy, this is an excellent time to do that. And I typically post a couple times a week. And then Makers Mondays is now going to be the last Monday of every month. So come and check us out. And it looks like if you do a pinch and zoom, according to Nicole, you can see a little bit better. So that's a tip for you. How many folks are out there on your mobile? That's what I want to know. Are you on your mobile device like a phone? Because I probably should in the future let people know that you should probably have something larger than a phone. Should work pretty good on a tablet, but you might struggle a little bit on the phone. So if you're on your phone, give me a phone emoji in the chat and keep that in mind for next time. Of course, that means you got to come back for next time. So don't forget to subscribe and like. Alrighty. So um, it looks like, okay, we got some confirmation that the pinch and zoom works. That's great. It looks like Nicole is on her phone. So you'll have to let me know how that experience goes for you. Looks like Slim too. So, all right, we're gonna work through this together. All righty then. Okay. All right. So, where do you think you would have the most challenges? Recognizing that you have some things that you need to let go of or possibly put down. In that resistance area, in that looking at your kind of things that you're afraid of. Would it be in the assessment of your fears and challenges, or maybe in that reframing and communication, like how to actually look at what's happening differently? Or again, maybe you feel like you have all those others in check and you really want to evaluate, you know, how it could actually be seen as good. Like, what are the potential good things there or whatever? Just drop that in the chat for me. Yeah, so it looks like pretty much everybody's on the phone except it looks like Josh might be on a rotary phone, landline. I'm not sure. My landline is not that sophisticated to handle live streams. So either that or maybe he's emoji challenge. That's okay. That's all right. That's totally all right. All righty. So looking at the different phases, it looks like I'm getting a couple responses here. So some around analysis from Nicole. And then we have Josh maybe feeling like he might struggle a little around letting go of unrealized plans. If you care to elaborate on that, let me know, because I'm not sure how you can let go of unrealized plans. But I suppose if I could figure out how to do that, I might be able to bottle that up and help you out with that. So, and apparently some of you are on multiple cell phones, it looks like. I'm just teasing. So anyway, let's go ahead and move forward then. So basically, what we have is an opportunity. Let's see. Letting go of unrealistic expectations was one that also came up. I noticed that Nicole is the only one who chose one of the one of the five phases, and that's okay. That's okay. I do have other. I do want to know if maybe these aren't it, because that's the beauty of the live framework. So please don't feel like there's anything wrong with not picking one of those five phases, because if that's not where you are, that's not where you are, and I want to meet you where you are. Okay, so let's jump over into Adobe Express, and then we can take a look at some of that. Alrighty. Okay, so the way I'm looking to break this down is um, is to tell you a little bit about Adobe Express. I don't know how many are familiar. If you are familiar with Adobe Express, then drop that in the chat too. That'll be interesting to know. If you've never heard of it, or are completely confused at the screen you're looking at, drop that in the chat as well. Um, let's see. Josh get offered a little bit of clarification for us about plans or expectations that haven't worked out. So being able to pivot away from that, ooh, that's a good one. That pivot is hardy. And it looks like, let's see, Morgan says, what I heard what are you letting go of? I didn't hear pick one star. Oh no, that's okay. And it's quite possible that I did say something else. So alrighty. Let's see. Josh evaluated again. He says it's probably under number two. Okay. That's fair. Number two is one that gets people a lot. Honestly, one and two are big ones. One is recognizing, and the other one is kind of taking a look at the fear. So I think what we will probably do there is, but let me tell you guys a little bit about Adobe Express. Adobe Express is free. I've set up to use a free account. They have a nice free trial, and it's not too expensive. It's probably the biggest competitor is Canva. I love both. It just so happens that this is what I've been using a lot lately. A lot of great templates. Some of them you have to pay for extra things like brands, or to access, all of their stock photography and stuff. But what we're building is going to be really simple. So I'm just going to click document here at the top. I forgot to increase the size of my mouse so you guys can see that better, but here we are. So document, and they have some popular and kind of templates and things you can kind of get started with. I like, for something like this, I'm gonna jump into the report. And as I mentioned, this little crown here lets you know this premium gonna cost you a little bit more. But a lot, I think what we're talking about doing is comparison and evaluating. So even though this is a progress report, I think I'll pick this as my template. And like I told you, this is all raw from scratch. I haven't walked through this at all. Um, and so we have, okay, a report here, activity and remarks. Pretty much anything you want to do in Adobe Express, you just double click, and it's probably as intuitive as you might think. Again, just clicking on things will allow you to change them or move them around. And so if we're going to look at the kind of recognition phase, um, I did actually, that is honest, created a strategic assessment template and a scoring card. So we won't build that out. That'll be like the kind of sort of free included thing. It's nice to see I got some fans of Adobe Express out there. So that's pretty cool. And in the phase two, we could probably do maybe a side by side comparison of what I'm afraid will happen with what is likely to happen. I think that might be a good one. So we can call this, so just again, double clicking inside of here, or when you see it turns into this little, you know, eye looking symbol, you can, drag it to highlight the text. And we'll call this phase two, fear versus likely. And so I can start with this side again. I just double click. And so instead of activity, I'm going to, I'm afraid will, and then on the other side, I can say what is likely to happen. All right. So, what do you guys think about this so far? Do you feel like this will be a good comparison for you? Something to help you evaluate, or should I come up with a different one? Because another side by side we could do could be um, listing out your fears and then what you would do if they actually happened. So that's another alternative that we could possibly use there. I'll, we could probably do also like an external pressure inventory. So like if you feel like your fears are more externally driven, that would be a good one to do, where you could list all the people or voices that are telling you to be afraid, and then you can put how much you like actually trust them, right? Because sometimes we're worried about things that we don't need to be worried about, right? I'm sure we all have some group of people that we're like, I don't care what they think. But then there's another group of people where you're like, oh, I totally care what they think, even if you don't verbalize it that way. And so that kind of external pressure inventory could be a good one to do. But I think what I'm afraid will happen and what likely will happen is probably a good one to do for this group. Um, let's see here. Oh, and just in case you guys didn't know, live streams do have some lag and a little bit of downtime here and there. So it looks like I might be having a little bit of network trouble. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. We got at least one vote of confidence, so we'll get into it. All righty. So as you can see, creating this is very, very simple to do. It is something that you could easily print out. And once you have this, again, you can simply click this download button and you can just choose PDF. If you prefer the JPEG or some sort of other image, but typically PDF is going to be the easiest, best way for you to do it. I probably would change it to the best for printing if I was planning to print it, just because it just does a few things slightly differently that'll work better for printing. And then you just hit download and it downloads your PDF. It starts to download it. Even if you click away or do something else, it's totally all right. You can start something new or anything. Then you just save it to wherever you need to save it. So I'm gonna call this phase 2. Got my caps lock on. Okay, and I'm save that. And to some degree, that's it. And we can all go home. I'm just kidding. The I will talk a little bit about the psychology maybe behind it. Psychologist whatsoever. I'm just a person that has done a lot of things, right? And a lot of times what happens when you have fear, you've heard people say that fear is false evidence appearing real, right? And so why are you afraid of it? Like, what are you actually afraid that would happen? And so if you wanted to write inside instead of printing it off or anything like that, it would be easy to do in a digital kind of way. And so I'm going to be really transparent with you guys. I am personally afraid that I will become a starving artist, meaning not enough money to support my lifestyle. So, one, if you think about phase one is that realistic check, right? You're supposed to be able to get yourself to a point where you can be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. You're not going to take any meaningful or useful action if you're not being honest with yourself. If you have trouble being honest with yourself, you may need to find somebody who will be honest with you with love. And that could be a friend, it could be a stranger, it could be a therapist. But getting to the truth is paramount to making any of this even valuable or work for you. Um, so, in the case of being a starving artist, not having enough money to style, what's happen is I don't know. I would what's likely to happen? I would abandon and find a traditional job. Um, I don't know if I find that comforting yet, but I think it's unlikely that I would actually starve and not be able to eat, I suppose. Um, if anybody's willing to share, you can drop something that you might be afraid of in the chat and we can kind of work through it together. And if not, that's totally okay as well. Um, Perhaps we might get some support from Duck Army over here. Maybe they have some concerns. Perhaps it's might be one of their fears, or perhaps being squeezed and not actually squeaking. I mean, if I was a rubber duck, that might be my concern. But anyway, um, what kind of thing are you afraid of? When you can get that down, then you have to have that same level of honesty to say what you would likely have happen. And again, if I was literally in a situation where I felt like, eat, then yeah, it's ridiculous that I would literally sit there and starve, right? For support, um, I might run up some credit card debt for sure, but I don't think I would actually starve. Um, Thanks for sharing, Nicole. Says she's afraid of looking foolish, which I it. So let's see. Afraid. I guess I could just shorten it. Looking foolish. So, what's likely to happen then? That would have to be something again that's real and honest for you. Have you ever looked foolish before? Like that's one place that you can start when it comes down to fears. Is this a fear of something that has never actually happened before? Because sometimes we prepare for the worst case scenario and we never prepare for even a halfway decent scenario, let alone prepare for winning. We always prepare for losing. We don't bring on a day that looks like it's going to be hot. We bring an umbrella because you never know, it might rain, right? So we're always preparing for that negative case. Have you actually done something where you looked foolish before? And if you did, what happened? Because maybe that's likely to happen again. Or maybe you learned from looking foolish in the past and that won't be as much of a challenge. Um, let's see. Josh says that he's afraid he's not talented enough to really resonate with that one. Some people call it imposter syndrome. It doesn't have to have a label. It's just the willingness that you're able to have that honesty and transparency with yourself. So I'm gonna say not talented enough. Okay. And all right, thanks everybody for sharing. Morgan says is afraid of running out of words to say. I really resemble that one. I sometimes feel like I'm being repetitive. It's like, didn't I already say this? Didn't I already have this theme? Am I just a broken record? Yeah, running out of words. Um, Looking at the not talented enough one, I would ask some of the similar questions that we asked about looking foolish. Like, is that something that has happened before? Have you tried to do something and you just didn't have the talent? Um, but not only that is who or what is the measuring metric? Like, how are you figuring out this talent? Like, don't let it be such an abstract thing that you can never measure up to it, right? Because again, what's likely to happen if you're not talented enough? And that's again something personal you'll have to sort of figure out for yourself. If you actually aren't talented enough, what have you ventured? What have you learned? What can you do? Can you take a class? Can you learn another skill? Can you get a mentor or a coach? Like, how can you become more talented? And again, really, how are you evaluating that? Um, Apparently, the ducks are getting the love. Um, Nicole says she needs a superhero duck. I think we all need a superhero duck, or maybe we just all need superheroes. I used to think I was a superhero. I realized I am just a mere mortal, very much a mere mortal. Um, let's see. There's also Nicole saying that she feared that, you know, she would make mistakes and never be perfect. Um, so I'm gonna put not being perfect. Um, Again, I think we've all not been perfect. So that's not to say it makes you feel good or that it's okay, but again, you've survived. You survived being imperfect all of this time. So, you know, um, it's okay. Look, we're getting some emojis, some ducks in the chat. I love it. Um, Honestly, if you're feeling the duck army, then this is our symbol. This is what we be kind of rocking with is the duck army. If you drop that in the chat, if you if you got feels, if you vibing with the duck army, um, and just a little bit about that. I know it might seem so silly. Um, for looking foolish, I will make mistakes and I will never be perfect. Um, you think that's what's likely to happen? You think this is the thing that will happen if you look foolish? We're gonna have to talk about that one a little bit more. But what I was gonna say about the ducks is that the ducks have very much a rooting in my IT tech background. So a lot of times we often talk to others, and you really just want to bounce something off somebody, And so we would often say, "Hey, could you rubber duck this with me?" And to some degree, that sort of inspired me a little bit in this space, right? Like right now, we're having an opportunity to rubber duck these things off of each other. I can share my personal stories. You guys can with me, and I hope that you're at least having a couple of kind of take away or things that you do. And so the Duck Army, one, it represents a lot of duckies that I need to probably put down or pick up depending on where I'm at any given time. But also is that opportunity to bounce ideas off of. So um, I'm glad you guys are feeling the ducks. I see Nicole is Nicole's my top fan, so I might have to actually send her a duck for tuning into my live stream and engaging in everything. So look for that. I will be doing giveaways and things like that. So I got you now. So Nicole thinks that what's likely to happen. Make mistakes and never be perfect. All right. So again, isn't that where we are today? Isn't that what we all do? We've all made mistakes. From where I sit, you don't have to be afraid of looking foolish because theoretically, either one, you already look foolish because you make mistakes and you're not perfect. And so going forward is not going to put you in any more of a bind or any more of a negative place than you are right now. Um, but again, looking foolish, when you say looking foolish, you're not actually foolish. And that's an internal confidence thing that you have to build, that you're not actually foolish, right? I mean, to look a certain way, um, I'm sure you've heard the saying about like um, they thought somebody might have been a fool, but they didn't know until he started to speak. So it's like, are we afraid of again how it looks, the perception, or what the truth is? Because when you know you have a skill, talent, ability, calling, when you know you serve God, who is all powerful, then it doesn't necessarily matter how you looked. The Bible's full of stories of people who looked a certain way or situations that looked a certain way that weren't actually that way. And so I would encourage you to firm up that foundation and that internal confidence, and find better sounding boards. So you probably do need a couple of ducks, right? So you can go and bounce it right off the ducks like, hey, this is going to go from there. Because there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. In most circles, especially in the business world, making mistakes is how you, as they say, make your bones. If you haven't failed at a business, some people don't even want to talk to you because they feel like you haven't experienced enough of the highs and lows. It's easy to just coast on easy street to something, but there's so much to be learned. Make mistakes. So that's just some of my thoughts on it. Let's see. Um, let's see. Um, any thoughts from you, Josh, on the not being talented enough? Do you feel like you have a reasonable what's likely to happen? Um, and with the running out of words, and so obviously, but this is an easy tool in either case that you guys can walk away with that you can take. Um, and so again, here's my kind of pause station identification again. If you head over to my name is Stacy.substack.com, you can become a subscriber there, and that is where I post worksheets and tools. There's a authentic personal branding one available right now. When we get done with the stream, we'll have the pages that we worked on together available there. And again, they'll be you can download them. You know, you can again, however you need to. And yeah, that's kind of the whole idea of us working together. But it's also awesome if you become a subscriber. It's free, by the way. It's free to subscribe on Substack. But I try to post, motivational things. I also post blog articles and things like that. Again, really to help you get better at being your most authentic self. And like I said, helping to give you the support for the real work that you have to do. None of these things are easy to do. It's not easy to overcome a fear of looking foolish. It's not easy to overcome a fear of not being talented enough. It's not easy to overcome a fear of running out of words. So it is with all sincerity that I'm here to, again, try to help support that. Um, with that being said, we can maybe take a look at something in the phase 3 space. So here in Adobe Express, it's very easy to add another page or another theme. Um, is you just click this button here at the bottom. It says Add Page, and you can do same size, custom size, or anything like that. And then you can also do actions. That's the three little dots. I like to call that the overflow menu, or sometimes I call it the Peapod menu. And you can just do a duplicate of the page you're on. So then you'll get this little timeline here at the bottom. And if you want to see them next to each other, you can hit View All Pages, and then you'll see the first page. And here's that second page. You can reorder the pages if you like, but obviously we want to get into the second page. So let me get into that. I'm gonna hit phase 3. But before I jump fully into phase 3, let's make sure we're feeling good about phase 2. So Morgan says, what's likely to happen is I'll use my resources like a thesaurus or AI or community to talk it out. I really need to address my scarcity mindset. Okay, I can see that. So in that space of running out of words, what's most likely to happen is you will leverage your resources and community. So hopefully, thinking through that gave you some level of confidence or peace that even though that fear is there, probably nagging at you at all the most inappropriate times, it's not likely to happen to really run out of words. Um, and of the thesaurus, and honestly, I and keep living. Most of my stories come from the exposure to stuff, right? That's one of the reasons I love going to conferences. And it's not that I just, go for the people watching, although it can be good, but I go to get other perspectives, to meet other people, to, in essence, give me new stories to tell. And so I think as you continue to expand and grow as a writer, you'll really be able to add to your words, right? When you have something, you won't necessarily have to look up the synonym because you will have seen it take place, right? What type of sunrise was it? Was the sky orange or was the sky pink or was it purple, right? But until you see those sunrises or sunsets in those different colors, those words might not come to mind. So, as again, my pastor likes to say, keep living. And I think it'll help to give you more words. So, gaining experience, leveraging your resources in your community, I think are going to be really strong for you, Morgan. Um, and okay, so phase 3 is analysis. So that was one of the first things that somebody said is that, they thought it might be helpful to think about some stuff in the analysis space. So let me go in here and we'll say phase 3, analysis. And so there's a couple things we can do or that come to mind to me for analysis. So one could be something called like an opportunity cost catalog. And so it's another side by side comparison where you either have the cost of staying put versus the cost go. This is a pretty interesting one because the idea here is that you're looking at like your time, your energy, relationships, right? So whatever you write about, wherever you got that reality check from, and wherever you looked at, where you're afraid of things, what is the cost of staying with that fear? Or the cost of letting go of that fear, right? Because sometimes some things are not worth letting go. but then some things are absolutely worth letting go. And it's not always easy. That's definitely another side by side comparison we could do would be um, how it would change you. So instead of the cost of staying put versus letting go, it would be like you kind of pick like a time frame, like maybe 2 years, and it would be if I make this change, and then the other side would be um, don't make change in 2 years. How would things be? Like, how would you start to evaluate that? What's going to happen in 2 years? So that's another side by side one that we could do. That's a pretty easy one. Actually, we could just make them both. Uh, we don't have to fill them out. We're supposed to be here to put the framework together. So I'm going to duplicate this one again. Oh yeah, shout out to the Duck Army. Yeah. Um, so we'll call this one 3B, and we'll call this one 3A. Um, and this one, we'll give it a subtitle, and we'll say in 2 years, dot, dot, dot. And for this one, we can do do it or not. I think, is that what I said for that one? I've forgotten what I said. That's how you know it's live. Let's see. So it's an awesome time for me to talk about the undo feature inside of Adobe Express. So if I go back, um, I can do control. You just undo and you just keep going back, and it'll take me back where I was. So, except I don't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, no, yeah, the cost of staying put and the cost of letting go. Okay, so now I can do a shift control and go back forward to where I was. Um, so it was cost of letting go. Nope. The first one was cost of staying, and then the second side was cost of letting go. So this could be instead of cost. So we actually have two things we can do in this analysis phase. Ha. Well, this may be true, but hopefully we'll just keep getting better. Yes. And again, I meant for this to be messy at times. Like I said, I didn't make any of these advanced. I haven't tried doing these side by side columns or anything. So you guys are truly getting it fresh off the presses. And okay, so just thinking about it, and again, it could depend on what it is that you're evaluating. One of these or the other could be better. So you can kind of think the thing that you could maybe do would be it's very similar. So I'll give you a C. We'll duplicate this. And so you can see at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on page 4, even though it's phase 3. So I always like to check so that I don't actually delete something. So I could do phase C would be losing. I'll call it that for now. Maybe you guys give me a different suggestion on what to call it once I tell you what the columns are. So for this one, it's not just two columns. It's actually um, four columns. So this is an opportunity for us to play around in Adobe Express here. So I can just grab this bottom and drag it up, try to get it about halfway the page. You notice the spaces collapse. They're a little smaller now. Um, and there's a few ways to handle that. But we're just going to leave them like that for now. Then I'm going to copy them. Just Control C, Control V. So now I have four columns. And again, you could do this a couple of ways. It doesn't really matter that things are overlapping. So you can have it be the smaller list, or if I undo, I can keep them the longer list, and I can still do a copy and paste, and then I could just overlay it like that. Is a super duper lazy way to do this. But again, I don't want it to be complicated if you decide that you want to build something for yourself. Now, when I'm building stuff for you guys, I put a lot more into, but we only have a limit. So this is another way that you could do it. So the four areas for this one would be, so what's the opportunity that I'm missing? Another in the kind of quadrant would be still available. And this will be on a like 1 to 5. Oops, 1 to 5 scale. And then actually these are all 1 to 5s. The next one would be impact to goals. And then the last one would be aligned so again, these would all be 1 to 5s. I don't know why I only put it here, except that this is a live demo. Woohoo! And I don't know the name there. If you guys come up with something better, drop it in the chat for me. But I'll just say 1 to 5 there. But the idea here is that if you do whatever it is, like what if you don't do it? And you list those out. So lean into my creativity. I'll continue to use myself as an example. If I don't find ways to leverage that, then I don't know, sad. I'd be sad. I don't know. And so then what you could do then is in the box next to it, you give it a number 1 to 5. So I'd be really sad. It'd be a 4, right? And you do that for those, and then basically allows you to kind of evaluate what makes the most sense. Like what are you going to miss out on? Will that thing still be available in, I don't know, like later? You get to define later, but like if you skip out on it now, will it be available later? Maybe. And what impact would it have on your goals? If you have other goals, if you do this thing, does it get you closer to your goals or pull you further from your goals? And then is it aligned to your strengths? Are you even able to do it right now? Like, I often joke that I would have loved to have been a professional basketball. My knees and my back. Well, I mean, although at my age, I would have already had a career. My career will be long over. But what's the likelihood of that, right? Like, is it aligned to my strengths or whatever it is? If I didn't, would it still be available? The answer probably would have been no, or I think about how I wanted to be a mascot when I went to Michigan State University. And it was like, if I did do it then, it was pretty much my only opportunity to apply. They don't get new Sparties all that often. So, in that case, the score would have been very low for whether or not it was be available later. So this is just another one that you can use to evaluate or do an analysis of the thing that you want to try to do. Alrighty, we are getting close to an hour, and I don't really want to keep you guys much longer than that. You can see that I am passionate about these topics and a little long-winded. So, but it's my first one, so I get all the passes and freebies, right? If you agree with me, throw me a emoji in the chat, right? Maybe some bacon, that would be cool. But I do want to get into at least having a page for you guys for phase 4. So I'm going to insert another page. Oops, I didn't want to insert. Actually, let me see. For 4, stage 4 or phase 4 is about. I'm trying to think if there's a good thing we can do for that. Phase 4 is reframing and communication, right? So how do we shift the narrative for ourselves? And I don't think aside that, I think that one could be good as a timeline, perhaps. You could definitely do, well, let's just do it. So add a new page. I'm going to say just new page. I'm going to say same size. But I'm going to actually, well, I'm not probably going to do it. So if we had the premium account, we could just resize this and things like that. But it's not as easy to do when I just chose to do same size. I should have did a custom size. And then what I wanted to do was switch the width and the height. You can change this to pixels or inches or whatever it is. You know, if you do inches, you can see it's kind of like a regular sheet of paper. So instead of 8.5 by 11, I'm gonna do 11, and then I'll do 8.5 because I want to do it horizontal, or at least horizontal-ish. Because, like I said, I think for this one, a timeline would be good. And so I'm gonna run back over here, and I'm gonna do a search in my templates for timeline. Because I can totally build it from scratch. Like I said, usually when I make stuff for you guys, I do build it from scratch. So let's see what we got here. View templates. They got a vertical one. See, should have looked at those first. You can also click this button and it'll make it wider screen. Thanks for the support. Thank you. Thank you for the bullseye as well. Appreciate you all. But yeah, actually, there are some pretty decent timelines here that would fit, I think, what we want to kind of do. Because what I'm thinking about is it's pretty much in kind of like 3 stages. So I'll scroll through and hope I can find one that's not premium. This one's got 4. I think this could work. Perfect. I'll pick that one. So then when I pick it, pages. And then and I'm not interested in learning right now. I'm gonna close that too. And so now I got a couple of extra pages. So here's again where I can come in to view all pages, and I can select these 2. And then I can duplicate those pages. There's a few other functions, but obviously I just want to delete them right now. So looks like I lost my page, but that's where Control Z helps. Because by default, it was on the page I was already on. So I deleted too many pages. So now I can delete the 2 blanks. Here we go. So we can come in here, I can double click. And this is going to be phase. Where's my text? Oh, it's just a box. So I grab some text, add my text. I'm going to say phase 4. So I like to click off, and then I could just drag it. And drag it up to the top for phase 4. And again, and so the idea here is that you want today's decision. So I'm gonna add some more text. There's a couple ways to do that. I love to just copy paste. Then I could just double click. Today Another thing you can do is you can hold down the Alt key, and then it'll just. So the next point would be, 12 to 18 months from now. And then that third one is going to be 2 to 3 years. And so, what we're really trying to figure out here is these are kind of stepping stones, right? And so, you want to talk about what you're letting go of. So, today, you will be letting go of, I don't know, if you got two duckies, and one ducky is writing a new book, and the other ducky is working at Starbucks. So, the mode out here for puppies, puppy dog. I'll rock with it. I'll take it. But again, we'll have to add some text on here. So another thing you can do with text is it has clips and small bits and things like that you can use. Any of these text things, you can have different fonts, different others, different alignments. It's a lot of things you can do. You can add drop shadows and blocks and all sorts of things to text. So don't let the fact that it's pretty ugly right now deter you. We're not critiquing our design skills exactly today. I just want to kind of show you how flexible it can be. But again, the idea here is that you want to put what you're letting go of and what is it going to lead you to. Like if you do whatever it is or you don't do whatever it is, what is the impact going to be 12 to 18 months from now? And then what's the impact 2 to 3 years from now? Right? And obviously we're assuming success in essence. Or again of it, you're assuming that you didn't do the thing. That book that you've been aching to write. If you don't take that class that helps you to learn that skill, what's things gonna be like 12 to 18 months? Is it gonna be more of something you don't want? Or are you gonna take that chance in a calculated way, right? Like you're evaluating a year from now, let's say this course is gonna take me 6 months to do. Once I'm done with that course, then there's some jobs that will be open in that space, right? Like you would research that in advance. You would just say, I hope there's a job for this later, right? That's what makes these strategic decisions and not just letting life move it around for you. Because guess what? 12 to 18 months is coming anyway. So that's one you can use. And so for the last one, we can do, let me see. Phase 5 is about the gains. And we could do, oh, I like this one. That was fun. What's a good layout for that? Let's see. I'm going to say sections. I don't know if that'll be a good prompt to get good templates. But I'm looking for something that's got some, key moments. And it's not even expensive. It's free. Key moments, but we're going to call it hidden benefits. And so with hidden benefits, these will be the things that you can keep track of as you go. Think about stuff like people that you wouldn't meet, right? So I put hidden benefits because that's the name of it, but I should have put phase 5. And so phase 5 is strategic gains, right? So what are your gains? What are the unexpected rewards or whatever? And again, those things will happen as you go, and it'll give you something to look back on to realize, to what we were afraid of, whether or not we should make that change. You literally will have something that hopefully builds your confidence, builds your muscles, so so that you don't have to necessarily be as detailed every time. Get better at it. You'll get faster or whatever it is. I know for me, I definitely have uh, gotten better at realizing, okay, what is it that can wait, and what is it that I have to do now? Because again, it's a burning thing that I have to do. And again, you need to be doing it for yourself. You need to be doing it because you're passionate and excited about it. And those two things, the passion and excitement, will take us. It's a reason that some people say, you know, that they don't work a day in their life because they love what they do. Well, most of us don't mind what we do. We might even love it conceptually, but like it's not the thing that you would do for free or whatever. So when you can find a way to uh, get to those things that really set your soul on fire, you're most likely to have more success and things like that. So again, these aren't Stacy isms. These are things that have been studied. These are things that have been proven. And like I said, I'm just here to try to help us all make it. And these are 5 worksheets that we can use. I'm gonna clean them up at least a little bit so they'll be easier to use. And I'll add in that one strategic assessment at the beginning that I talked about, and I hope that you guys found some value in it. I can't help myself. There'll be some bonus content. You know, there were definitely some skills matrices and things that we could add in there. There's skills evaluations that you can do, you know, but again, it's all sort of personal. So that's why I'm going to give you this really simple guide, but then I'm also going to give you a much more comprehensive guide that you can use for different types of scenarios. But the one I really want you guys to focus on, if you don't do anything else, is phase 2, that fear versus likely, or whatever it is, and come to terms with that. Be honest with yourself. And so that kind of wraps us up. I'm so glad that you guys came. It was my first one. You know, if you thought I did okay, drop me a okay in the comments or something like that. If you think you might want to check out another one, your feedback for that as well. I actually do have a um, survey for those who are subscribers on Substack. So again, my name is Stacy.substack.com, and I will link the survey in the chat for everyone. And it's just a couple of questions that'll help me to um, do better. Um, so let me drop that. I use a Mac at work in my day-to-day job, and sometimes I forget if it's control or if it's command that I'm supposed to do. So um, yeah, but this is what's coming up next. So like I mentioned, I post multiple times a week on YouTube and on Substack. My October live stream, I think everybody who's here could appreciate, is the bounce breaker weight method for smart pivots. So somebody mentioned pivot at the beginning. So you would probably really want to tune in for that one. Um, and it's kind of using a juggling metaphor, like what can you allow to fall down, right? Because sometimes that's the thing that's keeping us from moving forward on things we're afraid of, because we're afraid we're going to drop a thing. And there's some things that very much so, if you drop it, it's a problem. And then there are other things, you know, not so much. They might bounce. And there's some things that you shouldn't be juggling at all. You need to put that ducky down. You know, November will be the name game, how to win with words. December will be your next conference toolkit. So going into next year, I'm encouraging everybody to get out there, find a free conference. If you don't have a budget for it, get out there, networking. Like I said, you have to have more experiences, and you have to have more opportunities in order to do stuff. We can't do it in a cave, in a closet. So it's one of the reasons I'm doing this live stream and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the first Makers Monday. Woo! Wait, am I? Heck yes, I'm supposed to clap for myself. I got a theme song. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. So if you don't, go check out my channel, man. Like I said, like, subscribe, share it with somebody. All right, cool. cool, cool. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Um, I got another one, but it didn't quite come through. But it looks like somebody doing a dab. So I'll show what came across. Ah, man. But I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, come check me out. We're just getting started, and your feedback is essential to that. So let me know what parts you liked. Is it the personal stories? Is it the conversation? Is it the technical skills? Like we can do a workshop on how to make cool stuff in Express, right? Or we could just have a Word document and work out some of the other pieces of like how to actually work through the information in the toolkits. Or again, we could just get together and hang out. I like the game and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. I know the Duck Army had a good time. These my homies, or whatever. And honestly, I haven't named everybody yet. So if you got ideas and names, let me know. This one is Spark, the red ladybug looking duck. That's Spark. This is Junior. This is Mimi. This is Hoots. And the other ones, they don't have a name yet. So maybe you guys can help me with that. Um, yeah. So definitely going with the dab. So um, I appreciate you, Morgan. I appreciate your support. And that's it, folks. I thank you so much again for coming by. And yeah, next time. Thanks. Bye.